Well, the thing called runes, it just dropped. We had the halvening that happened like 2 or 3 days ago, and you probably heard of this thing called runes. It's by Casey Rodomar, and it's the latest, greatest thing that influencers are pushing and saying, yeah, you're going to make a 1000x, but yet they don't tell you how to look for the different runes, how to buy, how to sell, and the different tools that you guys can use in order to navigate the runes market. In today's video, I want to go over all those tools. I've got a huge list written right here. We're going to show you guys how to buy, how to inscribe, how to sell, how to find. We're going to show you the different websites and tools that you can use in order to get the alpha that you need in order to capitalize on the runes market. If this is the type of content that you like and you would like to see more of it, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and tell me where you guys are watching this video from. Going against the YouTube algo and not putting the picture of the, like I got kicked in the, on a thumbnail. You guys want to see more of this content without having those clickbait thumbnails. You guys know what to do. Drop a like. Let's go and get into this. The first things first I want to go over with you guys is going to be Unisat. Unisat is going to be the place where you're going to mint and inscribe, or etch is the word they use here, in order to get these runes out there. The very first thing we need to go into is what are BRC20s and runes? Well, these are basically like your ERC20s that you have on Ethereum. So, you know, like your Pepe, your Andy, your Boop, your APU, these different tokens, those are individual ERC20s that are built on Ethereum. Now, the difference between BRC20s and ERC20s is that the BRC20s are on Bitcoin and they follow a different protocol. So the main difference that you need to know about BRC20s versus ERC20s is that these are basically tokens on Bitcoin, whereas the ERC20s are on Ethereum. There are many more technicalities in this, but we're not going to go into that. Just understand it's meme coins and tokens, but on Bitcoin. Now, the difference between BRC20s and runes, we've already had these tokens on Bitcoin for over a year now. Runes are supposed to be a cheaper, faster, more efficient BRC20. That is it. There really isn't much of a major difference. Here is a huge comparison you guys can see between the different ones. One that is interesting is Lightning compatibility. Obviously, really no one uses Lightning, but runes are UTXO based, whereas the BRC20s are ordinal based. So with your runes, you don't have to make two transactions in order to transfer them. Well, technically, I'll show you what this means. So if we go to the traditional route of selling a regular BRC20, let me show you the marketplace. We'll go to ordinals. If I wanted to sell a regular BRC20 of mine, let's just call it Ordi, Zivit, whatever. We'll just do pups, for example, because why not? I go ahead and go to pups. So it's somewhere over here. Yeah. So if I wanted to list some pups, I would click list. These are already inscribed to myself. If I don't have any inscribed to myself, I do need to inscribe them to myself. These are BRC20s. Now, in order to actually sell these, I have to start with a transfer inscription. So let's say I want to list some honk. Honk, I have 0 transfer inscriptions. So I need to make 2 transactions in order to actually list this. So I need to inscribe transfer this to myself. So if I want to list, let's say 50,000 honk, I would select the amount, and obviously it would need to be lower than this, and it would inscribe transfer some of my honk. I have to do this every time before I want to sell something. However, the difference between, so after this is sent, then I have to wait 3 blocks for this to confirm. And then once it's confirmed, I can sell it. To understand what a block is, you got to go to the mempool. And a block is basically just like a Bitcoin transaction. These happen about every 10 minutes. So give or take 30 minutes before you can actually sell the thing. Whereas with runes, it's a little bit different because you don't have to wait that long and you don't have to do this inscribed transfer. Now, the reason why I say to a point is because if you want to split up your runes and sell them, you have to inscribe them to yourself. So let me explain what I mean. I know it's getting a little bit confusing, but you will understand as you start to play with this. I'm just trying to break down the difference. Like in reality, guys, there is no difference between BRC20s and runes. Like, there really isn't much of a difference. In fact, me personally, I think BRC20s are a little more simpler to understand because they're only 4 tickers. And yeah, eventually the runes will be less tickers. Right now they're like 13. And second is that when you are inscribing them, most of the time you don't just sell your whole bag. Like, most of the time what's going to happen is you'll sell like a piece of it and not the full entire bag. So like, for example, Wada Wada Pingu, I minted all of these when it first launched. In order for me to sell these, I would sell them in batches. But if I wanted to sell less than 50,000 and I just wanted to do 10,000, I still have to inscribe this to myself. So it's still 2 transactions. But basically, if you minted this and you wanted to sell it, you can literally just list this right now. So I can say list for sale, put my price. I want to say like a bunch of sats, whatever, less than 0.5 Bitcoin. Okay, sure, fine. I'll do less than 0.5 Bitcoin. Let's do 999. And then say list for sale. This will allow me to confirm the transaction, and then it will be listed on the market. When you're selling things, it's like dirt cheap, but when you're buying, the gas fee is like atrocious. Okay, like it's not always atrocious, but right now it's pretty high. It's like 100 sats per V-byte. So basically you're going to be paying like, I don't know, $20 to buy something. If you wanted to sell a rune without the full amount, so like if I wanted to list this Wada Wada Pingu without the 50,000 and I just wanted to do 10,000 of this is the way you would do it. If you wanted to split up your runes and sell them, let's just take Bitcoin Pepe Matrix, for example. Let's say I only want to sell 20,000 of these. I would select the address to send to, and then I would type in 20,000. Now, once I hit next, this will prompt the transaction, and this splits up my tokens. So now I'm going to have 2 different inscriptions, one with 396,000 and the other one with 20,000 of the, Bitcoin Pepe Matrix. So yeah, now I would be able to sell 20,000. Obviously, I'd have to wait for that transaction to confirm before I can actually sell it. But that is really the only difference between runes and BRC20s. In summary, there is like no difference. Oh, and then also it's on UTXOs, but you don't need to know that. That's what the inscribed transfer does. It puts it on a UTXO for you. The reason why I'm already able to just sell these instantly with whatever I have there is because they're already on their individual UTXOs. That's really the whole brains behind it. And it was like, oh, it's supposed to reduce gas fees. Well, gas fees are still like astronomical, so whatever. Now, let me show you guys how to inscribe these things. Now, before we actually mint any of these things, we need to know exactly what we should be minting. There is a tool called Luminex and Genie Data. These are both of my favorite tools in order to figure out what's going on the mempool. This will tell you basically what's being minted. So right now, FEHU is extremely hot in the mempool. Bitcoin Pepe Matrix, Shiba Nakamoto. But I know most of these are minted. Like Bitcoin Pepe Matrix, this one just minted out, so I'm not even going to be messing with this. And then FEHU also, well, this one actually is minting, but it's like 1 token at a time. And for me, it's not really worth gas fees. If the gas fees get lower, I'll probably grab some. Let's just go ahead and click one for example. So if we click Shiba Nakamoto, this will take us over to the page on Luminex. This will tell us the progress and how much is minted and how much is pending. Me personally, I like to use Genie Data better. I'm just using Luminex to see what's going on in the mempool. You can also do this on Genie Data. It's a little bit slow because I'm doing a video, but you can see here this is 100% confirmed. So I have no reason to mint this. The reason I say that is because I am basically being front ran, and if I send a transaction out there, I'm just going to be wasting gas and I will get 0 tokens for it. If this says confirm 100% and 0 pending, I can't even front run anyone. If I try to mint this token, I'm just going to be paying the miners and tipping them. If you want to tip some miners, go ahead and do that. Have some fun. Or you can pick a token that hasn't been minted. You can tip the miners because you're paying them in gas, and you also get some tokens for it. So why not create a win-win situation? So here's an example of LFG Rocket Rune. This one has 1,097 pending mints, and this one is about 17% minted. Me personally, I do not like this one because it has a massive pre-mine. This basically means the guy who issued the token, he has a huge percentage or a portion of the supply. There is only 8.8 million in the supply and the dude owns 1 million. That is a lot of tokens. But hey, I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't mint. I'm just sharing with you guys the information you guys can use. You can also view the different holders on this token as well here. There's only 192 holders, which really isn't that great. Maybe it'll pick up as it mints out. But some of the tokens you guys can use for perspective and what to look for are going to be some of the top runes. Like a top rune would be Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi Nakamoto was one of the early runes that was minted. This one did have a pre-mine. This was about 20, or actually it was 20% pre-mined. But with this token right here, it has almost 20,000 holders, which is huge, especially in Bitcoin land. Now, if you have something that's like 146 holders, yeah, you better kiss your homies goodnight for sure on that one because you're probably going to get absolutely dumped on. I'm just putting that out there. Now, the reason why I like to use Genie data is Luminex is out of date a lot of time. Genie data is another tool. I will drop all these links in the description below, guys, so you will not get left behind. This is going to be a deep dive, so guys, grab some popcorn, buckle up, and try to stay focused. It's hard, I know. But Genie data is another tool you guys can use in order to see the different tokens that are minting. There are a ton on here. So let's just go ahead and take a look and say, all right, let's do Ape Season coin. Maybe this one hasn't minted out. And as you can see here, it has a mint progress in 1.63%. So I can go ahead and mint this one. I can simply just click mint and it will take me to mint this and I can choose how much I want to mint. Me personally, I like to use Unisat to mint because it's cheaper. Genie data is also cheap if you have a pass. I'm trying to stock more Unisat points because Unisat points it may be used in their airdrop and you basically get a point for every time you mint. But going back to Genie data, you can see here it auto-populates the amount, the ticker for you. So if you simply wanted to take this to Unisat, copy the whole thing, and then go to Unisat and mint it. It's easy. But I'll show that to you guys. Don't worry. I'll walk you through. So you can see here if I'm minting on Genie data and I want to mint 1, 10, 5, I don't know. Let's just say I'll do 4 of them. I go ahead and hit next. Me personally, I wouldn't be minting this. There's 7% pre-mine and it looks like it's moving slow, but we're just going to go ahead and show you guys what this looks like. So I'm going over here. I hit next and it's going to say, okay, you can mint this, this, and this, and this. Awesome. This is your fee. Have fun. Bend over because you're paying $53 in order to inscribe this. Now, if that's something you want to do, go for it. But me personally, I would look for something that I have a little more conviction on or I think will play out a little bit better. Ape Season coin. Watch this be like a multi-million-dollar coin like 5 months from now. But anyways, to choose your gas fees, it's important to go to the mempool. This is another tool I love to use. Keep in mind in the back of your head, well, this is the side of the head. Never mind. Keep in mind in the side of your head that these transactions happen about every 8 minutes. You do not want to get stuck in this mempool. If you're stuck, you're going to get front ran and you ain't going to get any tokens, especially if that thing is hot. Sometimes these things mint out in 5 or 10 different blocks. If I'm talking jargon right now, you're probably going to need to watch videos like this a couple of times. Eventually it will click. It took me a bit to learn this stuff, but you want to time the mempool. Right now, this is 3 minutes, 3 minutes ago. So I'm going to predict that this one is probably going to go in about 5 minutes. If I look at the sats per VByte, it's between 110 to 1600. The average is 118. If I want to be on the safe side, seeing the past blocks 123, 118, 134, 135, I'm going to go on the safe side and shoot for about 140 sats per VByte. Now, why do I say about 140? Because I can see here that the gas doesn't seem to be spikalicious at this time. There are times that it will be spikalicious, but I'm going to say, let's shoot for 140 on this if I was to mint it. So that leaves me about 21 sats per VByte in leeway on that. Well, actually, a little more than that because 111 is the minimum. I would have overpaid on gas, but hey, it's okay. I got my transaction through. So this ended up doing 115. This was the The mempool just happened to be cooking, so we got through in 3 minutes. Remember, it's on average 10-minute block times. Like you can see here, this was a 10-minute block here. This was a 3-minute block. This one actually ended up being a 15-minute block. This one was a 27-minute block. So that's how you can keep that in mind on that. Me personally, from bunches and bunches of failed transactions, I would much rather overpay for a token to actually get it than to pay entirely nothing and tip the miners and get nothing for it. It happens all the time, bro. Like you spend like $400, $500, $600 in gas and you get that much for it. You get nothing. It stinks. It's rough, but hey, it is what it is, and welcome to the game of Bitcoin. So in that case, if I was going to do 140 sats per VByte, I would go to custom and I would just type in 140. That's just in case so I don't get stuck in the mempool. And this is what I was talking about, the Genie data with the passes. You actually get discounts for it. I have a Genie data pass, so this will be a discount for me. But if you simply want to use Unisat to inscribe to get some points, which I prefer, you would just copy that ticker like we did. We would go to Mint, paste it here, pulls up 8 season coin, and I would select, I don't know, 3, 4, however many inscribes that you want to have. Now, to understand how many tokens you're actually getting, you need to figure out how much the 8 coins get. It's going to give me 2,000 per coin because that's what I saw. It doesn't show it here, but it showed it on Genie data. You can see here I get 2,000 apes per mint. So basically, if I do $66 divided by 4, let's just call it like $16, about $17. I'm basically paying $17 for 20,000 tokens or 2,000 tokens. So that's how you can kind of get that price perspective. So if we go over on Luminex, we can paste the ticker address here, Ape Season Coin, and this will give us all the details so we don't have to pull out a calculator and do all this junk. But you can see here the max supply is 100 million. So 100 million, let's just call it, I don't know, if we're getting 2,000 tokens and let's say they start trading at a penny a piece, that means our tokens are going to be worth $20. So is it worth it? I mean, it's up to you. You can also go on the secondary on Unisat to see if there's anything listed there. If we go to Ape Season Coin, you can also buy these on the secondary. So if you don't want to mint, here you can pick up 2,000 tokens for $133. This, in my opinion, like, why, bro? You can go mint on Unisat for a fraction of the price. But hey, this is guaranteed coin, so you can actually simply go out here and buy. Sometimes some people will sell it below the floor, so this is also a good way to pick it up. Now, this leads us into the next, which is the purchasing. We went over inscribing. We went over finding the different tokens. And just to summarize the inscribing real quick for you guys, to find your token, look for ones that don't have a massive pre-mine, preferably. If they do have a pre-mine, you better hope they have a reason for it, like airdrops or building the community. I don't know. It better be some good reason, because the dude behind the computer is basically just typing in like, hey, yeah, I get 20% of the supply. So if it's just some anon dude that does nothing and is just there just deploying the token, like, does he deserve 20% of the supply? Well, you can actually do the same. Like, you can literally do this right now. However, if he's building a community and building something, then yeah, I could see the team getting some of the tokens in order to grow the community. But to mint this, you just figure out what you want to mint. So like, let's say we wanted to do Ape Season Coin and we hit mint. We would make sure this is correct, obviously. We would say, hey, I want to do 110, 100, however many mints that you want. I would say just to test like 1 or 2 in the beginning, because if you're new at this, you are going to get front ran in the min pool and lose a lot of money. But let's just say 1, and then you got to time your sats per VByte. Minpool.space is your place to go for this. You can see here that this next block, I would predict, or the best thing to do is shoot for like 130 sats per VByte, just to be on the safe side. If this block continues to cook, like we'll go ahead and see what this times out to be. I'll go ahead and click one of the transactions right here. And then we'll come back to this and see what it is. I would say call this 130 sats per VByte. Oh, wow. I overpaid a lot. No, not really. It wasn't a lot, but I did overpay a little bit. But hey, my transaction went through. I do not like to have pending transactions. Why? Because I've gotten lost in the min pool. So it's okay to pay like 20 sats per VByte, a little bit over, because you're still getting in cheaper on this. So that would be a tool that you would use to time your sats per VByte. So again, like I said, I would be putting in 130. I would go to custom and type in 130. If you simply just want to use what they estimate, you can do that. Just be careful, because sometimes you will get absolutely roasted, especially if the fees pick up and a popular mint goes on. I don't see anything popular, and that's also why the gas fees are starting to slow down a bit. When there's something popular, you will know. Like, it will spike like nuts and ham. That's how you go ahead and mint these tickers. Now, if you want to etch your own rune, you can simply do this under the Mint Runes tab, or you can do this on Unisat as well. You just go under inscribe and go to runes, and you would type in etch. You would select your ticker. These are going to be between 12 to, I think it's like 22 or 23 characters. So those are the ones that you want to, oh yeah, here, 12 to 26 characters. Those are the tickers that you want to look for. You select your symbol, so it can be like G, and then let's do Drake on digital. Yeah, go ahead and go mint this, guys. Have fun. I'm not etching this, but you can select the pre-mine. I'm going to do 0 pre-mine, and let's do 1,000 or 10,000 and a cap of, we'll just call it 100 mints. So that basically means there's going to be 1 million tokens. So if I hit next, this will give all the details for it. I put the address, Drake on digital, and this is going to be the time frame for minting. So once this is etched, anyone can go out there and mint this, and this goes into the mempool for anyone to mint. So that is basically how you etch your own runes. You can also use Luminex. Luminex allows you to put a logo, but we're not going to go into that in this video. I think we're getting long enough already. So we went over how to inscribe. We went over how to mint. We showed you guys how to use Luminex as well as Genie data by finding the top runes. You can use the alpha signals to do this. It's not straightforward like, oh, dog with hat. Yeah, guys, that's already been done before. You got to look for something unique and kind of crazy. Like, here are the ones that are the top runes right now. Let's go on OKX, because this is the best place to go for prices. This is also another good tool. I will share this as well. This is kind of like your CoinGecko for the runes. Arsic Genesis rune, Satoshi Nakamoto, Wanko Manko runes. These are the top runes by market cap. You can actually filter based on market cap right here. The reason why I kind of like throw ZZZ out is because 99% of that was a pre-mine, so it's not really the actual market cap, but hey, whatever. So you got Arsic, Satoshi Nakamoto, Wanko Manko. You got Meme Economics, Bitcoin Pepe Matrix. You got the ticker is Elsa. Apparently, this is Hal Finney's dog, one of the Bitcoin dudes. Ordinals are dead. The God of Bitcoin, Anarcho Cannabis. Like, these are like some wild names, like weird stuff. But there are communities being formed behind them. And this is kind of like the meta that is happening around the runes right now. It's not really like there is no second best or something like Bitcoin or something simple like that. It's more of like wild, crazy names and just goofy stuff. And of course, you got the classic Satoshi Nakamoto. Like Meme Economics, like what the pants is that? I mean, I get it. It's meme, but Meme Economics, Bitcoin Pepe Matrix, Wanko Manko runes. The ticker is Elsa. Ordinals are dead. The God of Bitcoin. Anarcho Cannabis, like, or Catabus. What does that even mean? Those are just like some of the random names. Anyways, now let's go ahead and show you guys how to buy these. If I wanted to buy some of these runes, like I wanted to go buy some Bitcoin Pepe Matrix, I would go ahead and click on the ticker. This is on Unisat. This filters all the different ones. And I would select buy. That's it. Obviously, this one's sold. So let's go to this one. It'll say, all right, this is your available balance. This is the total. This is the gas fee that you're going to pay. You can customize the transaction fee higher or lower, however you want. And then you hit confirm, and then it will auto-populate a transaction in your wallet. And boom, bada bing, you just bought some runes and spent some Bitcoin. And that's how you buy some runes. Make sure you don't go super low on gas, because some of these people, they will go in the mempool and they will front run you. But after you get your transaction in, to check how long it's going to take, just copy and paste your address here, and it will show your recent transactions, or you paste your transaction hash. It will show up your estimated time. It'll show up something like this. This is just a random transaction I clicked on. You can see here it says unconfirmed, and this guy paid a $1,800 fee. He must be doing something important, but whatever. And you can see here he is doing whatever he is doing. It looks like it's some form of airdrop or some form of token split. I don't know. But that is how you can check your transactions. So how to buy, how to inscribe. We showed you guys how to sell and break up those runes. We showed you guys how to find, and we showed you guys the CoinGecko of runes. This is OKX. This basically gives the list of all the tokens. And we also showed you guys Unisat, which is basically like your all-in-one place. You can buy, sell, inscribe, and etch runes here. Etching is basically creating your own token, is the best way to think of it. And then we also showed you Luminex and Genie data for all the information of what's going in on the back end on runes. Just to see what's hot, to see what's popular, to see what people are trading. The tool or the place to go is going to be in alpha on Luminex. Then on Genie data, it's simply under the ordinals tab. This will give you everything going on in Bitcoin, not just runes. But runes takes up like the vast majority because everyone's messing with it. Like if you go down here, you got BRC20, which is like so tiny, man. Like right here. But yeah, that's how you use Genie data. And the last thing I want to show you guys is Magic Eden. Magic Eden is going to have a mix of your ordinals as well as your pre-runes. They are apparently going to have some runes as well trading on here. But right now, what the main rune meta that they have are going to be the pre-runes. You also have some BRC20s that are pre-runes as well. And these are ones like Pups, Wizard, Corn, Z-Bit. These are some of the different pre-runes, but without going into details on it, just check out the previous video to understand it. It's basically a BRC20 being transferred into a rune, like they're doing a token swap. But the last part of the video is going to cover the ordinals and the pre-runes. These are different tokens that are going to be getting a share of runes. Like if we go to the pre-runes tab, this will give you a share of a bunch of different collections. Like Runestone, these guys are doing a airdrop of 3 different runes, and a lot of protocols use them as a snapshot. Rune Pups is giving the airdrop of the Pups token. You got Tiny Vikings with their own runestone, or with their own rune, I'm sorry. Ape Odyssey, Arsic, the same junk, different day. If you want to research more of this, you guys can search Twitter. I also talk about this stuff in my Discord. So if that's something that you want to look for, there's plenty of other resources for research outside of this video. But those are pre-runes. Now, going back to the other ordinals, now some of these are simply just like your collections representing that whole entire thing. So runes are basically like the tokenized asset, whereas the ordinals are the actual asset representing the community. So like Bitcoin puppets, for example, these are like the main community members of the puppets. However, you have tokenized puppets in the form of pups. This is basically a meme coin that was launched by Farmer Joe. He is not on the Bitcoin puppets team, but the puppets ended up adopting it and they like the pups token. So this is also a way you can get exposure to runes. Like, for example, if I simply wanted to come and buy Runestone, I can get exposure to 3 different, well, actually 2 now. They already had the snapshot for one of them. 3 different runes assets that are going to be airdropped to me, as well as other projects that use the Runestone as a qualification for a airdrop. So to simply use Magic Eden, if you have some of these tokens, if you guys were watching my channel early on, go check your wallets. You probably have one of these in there. Yeah, it actually used to be 0.07 Bitcoin, but you now have some pups coming to you. But this is basically just a thank you, I guess, from the ordinals community, and it was airdropped from Leonidas, just like one of the devs in the Bitcoin community. And apparently this has been giving you a lot of snapshots. You can actually open up your Unisat wallet and scroll down, and you go under ordinals tabs. You actually get random airdrops like all the time, like all the time. I got this airdrop to me. I don't even know what it is. I bought these. I bought those. Come on. This was airdropped. I don't even know what it is. This was airdropped. This pizza rune was airdropped. These feeling good NFTs were airdropped. Just all kinds of different airdrops that go into your wallet, which is just part of being a early Bitcoin and ordinal enjoyer. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys would like more content like this, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and tell me what you guys thought of the video. And just so I don't have to have the, kicked in on the thumbnails, really just prefer not to do that junk. If you guys would drop a like in order to support in the YouTube algorithm to get this content out there to other peeps, really appreciate the gesture. If you guys would like to join the DigiSquad Discord, there is a link in the description below so you guys can join that. And there's also going to be links to all of the different tools and resources that we talked about in this video. Let's go ahead and hit you guys with a wisdom one-liner. Proverbs chapter 19, verses 8. The one who gets wisdom loves life. The one who cherishes understanding will soon prosper. Wisdom is basically dead without understanding, guys. You need to have understanding too to understand that wisdom. But before we close out this video, I want to give my thoughts overall on the runes. I do think runes are here to stay, but I feel like it's going to pull a similar cycle like we saw with the BRC20s. We had the initial run-up in Ordi on one of the first initial exchange listings, and then we had a sell-off. During that sell-off time frame was the time to accumulate if you've missed out on the early phase. Right now is more of like a PvP battle. So if you are not in the know and knowing which tickers to mint and knowing where to go, you're going to get absolutely roasted and chopped up because you're battling against the experienced guys. However, once more exchange listings start coming, you want to get in before that happens. So look for a dip on some of the main ones. I'm not going to go into that in this video, but you can already see some of the winners being won out. All you got to simply do is go on OKX and you can see some of the gains on some of these different tokens. I like to go to a couple of different Twitter spaces and go on to some of the Twitter profiles that I watch for some of the different BRC20s and runes. I also like to go to Luminex and Genie Data, scan the Discords, Telegram chats, and I'm also a part of some of the private BRC20 and ordinal groups. These are some great resources in order to get some quote unquote alpha and figure out what's going on in the different chats. It's the same that applies to crypto. You do not want to do this stuff alone. It's always good to ape with a friend, I guess you call it. I've been in the ordinal space for over a year now, so I kind of understand what to look for, and it does come with time. So it's okay to lurk and mint a little bit here and there, but do not lose your buns. Like I lost my buns on the first cycle, and then eventually you do find some of those winners and they will pay for the losers. You actually saw some of them on this channel. We were minting them publicly. Bitmap was an example of one of them. We were minting those like 50 cents to 75 cents, and those are currently trading at $80 now. They used to be trading at like 300, but hey, you are still up a lot from when you minted it. So this has a massive learning curve. So this is one of those things you guys don't want to overspend, and you want to use this as a really good learning experience. You are going to lose some money. Don't get disappointed or discouraged. Just use that as a learning experience and make sure you guys look for some of the resources on Twitter. And I want to add an asterisk to that. Do not just go to the random influencer that's like, yeah, buy this ticker and it's trading at like a $200-300 million market cap expecting to make a 100-200x on it. No, it's not going to work like that. The ones that you make the massive gains on are going to be the ones that you mint. I really like Ordinal's support desk. They are on Twitter 24/7. There is one dude in there that will help you get started in your journey. His resource is completely free. His name is Hyape, and just go on there, just be like, Drake sent me, or whatever you want to say, and he'll know who you're talking about. But he helped me out early on in the ordinals, and I think he is a really good resource. And then there are also a couple of other Twitter profiles out there that will help you out. Just be careful with those pump and dumpers. There are a lot of them out there that are going to be shilling you some tickers because they already got massive bags and they are going to dump on your head. They want you to buy their bags so then they can sell to you, and you just get absolutely roasted. Be careful with that. So just like you don't do crypto alone, it's the same thing with ordinals. Don't do ordinals alone. This is an action. This is a verb, and you don't want to do it alone. Now back to these cycles. I do think we will have a cool off period. I don't know if it's going to be now or if it's going to be a few weeks from now. It really will depend on the exchange listings. Binance hinted that they're looking at Bitcoin. Were they referring to ordinals? Were they referring to runes? If there are going to be some exchange listings, that will kind of be like the blow off top time frame, and that will be a great time to sell and then allow these things to consolidate. This will get hot again like it always does. But in summary, with runes and BRC20s, they really are the same exact thing. The only difference is that, to me personally, that I see, is that the runes, they have a massive pre-mine. So this means like the whales are now incentivized to go out there and pump their bags. That's why the previous ordinal enjoyers that never talked about BRC20s now talk all the books on runes. Why? It's probably because they got a huge pre-sale allocation and it's all an inside job. So just be careful buying the bags of someone else. And if you do, just use it as a learning experience. For some, the cost of tuition is expensive, and for some, it is cheap. Lord willing, it is the cheaper side. For me, I had some expensive lessons, and that's why I created the YouTube channel, just so you guys can get some feedback on it. Anyways, guys, be good, be safe. Do not overspend your capital. Use this as a learning experience. You may or may not find a 100 to 1,000 or even a 10,000x. Yes, they do exist in ordinals. Welcome to Bitcoin. And also, there's tons of airdrops on here. And like I said on the previous video, I think this one is going to be massive. It's Liquidium. I'll leave a link in the description below to this as well, but I explained it in my previous video so you guys can check it out. This one is going to be huge. It allows you to borrow against your runes, BRC20s soon, but it allows you to borrow against your ordinals right now. Think of it like Aave, but for NFTs. Peace out, guys.